This video is for awareness and educational purposes.
All hereby copyrighted content is for fair use and under the Fair Use Law of Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. And this is a Son of Man presentation. Frequencies. Peace and blessings, everyone. This is Frequencies of Thought. This is going to be short. It's just an announcement. I want everybody who knows somebody, and that should be everybody. If you know somebody who's getting sick, if you know somebody who has cancer, if you know somebody who has a terrible cough, if you know somebody who has some type of medical condition, I want you to explain to them the things pertaining to iodine, baking soda, charred cherry juice, cucumber water with copper, warm. And I want you to tell these brothers and sisters before they go and pay all this money to these hospitals for these chemotherapies and other types of therapeutic so-called treatments that they have. Tell them that you actually have something that may heal. This way, when they start to see and feel better, you'll be able to actually show them and explain to them where you got this information from. This way, they will no longer be lost out there, because they will see that you have helped them tremendously with their medical condition, or their children, or their friends or family member, and before you know it, it will bring them closer to the truth. It will bring them closer to their higher selves. Right now, we are stepping into a definite famine of great proportions, a definite scare of pestilence in the forms of microbes and contagions, as you can see the news now revealing it to you more and more throughout the days, as well as wickedness, which is abounding everywhere. And all of this is before these locusts have even been released. Now remember, the locusts are not bugs. The locusts will be terrorists. And being that they will be terrorists, you don't want to be feeling sick or throwing up to the point where you want to give up. The scriptures say that people will fear to live, meaning they will want to die during this time. So let's change that, because all of you can. If you have a YouTube channel, you don't have to even refer them to me. Keep your followers, keep your viewers, keep your subscribers, but please begin explaining to them some of the things that can help them physically and consciously, mentally. Many of you out there know of all these things, and you know that they work. These things will keep you safe, especially if you take the extra precaution of washing your hands and wiping things down with anti-bacterial cleansers and stuff like that. And you won't get sick unless you place yourself directly in line with something that is contagious. So that was all I wanted to basically tell you guys, and see if you guys could tell people, because we need to keep people safe and we need to keep people thinking on a higher realm. This way they're not succumb to the fears of the world and the fears of these other channels that keep feeding them fear and fear and fear every single day, with fantasy and horror and everything else. So before all of that becomes a reality, let's get some of these people in the right mind state. Now, of course, none of this is going to keep you from getting sick. These are things that will lower the chances of you getting sick, even if you have people around you that may have been sick or may be getting sick or whatever, on all levels, on the contagion as well as just regular cold, flu, whatever. These things will help your immune system. And eat nothing but natural things. The natural things that are going to keep you natural is going to be the things that's going to literally help fight whatever foreign or alien substance comes into your construct, your body. These things will literally fight it, and by you eating naturally, you're actually giving more power to your cells and to your molecules in general. You know, it's all about finding the power within yourself, which is your will. In case you don't know what your power is your will. And literally taking hold of your will or your power, your truth, and literally feeding it what is natural, feeding it what is real. Good thoughts, good vibrations, good visual, good audio. Try to leave all the negative things alone, because I explained in a past lecture, your body's completely made out of water. And if your body's basically 75 to 85% water, that's a third of you that is just water. And you already know that if you put a cup of water next to a speaker, what happens to that water? It begins to vibrate and cause little waves and stuff. Well, that's the frequencies of your brain. You have to picture your frequencies of your brain being shaken by this sound. And this sound is not only causing the vibrations of your brain to shake and stuff, but it's also doing that to the body or the blood within your body, the things that are good. So let's keep ourselves good. This is Frequencies of Thought, and I'm out. Peace. Frequencies. Salah. I want to give a special salute to all the sons and daughters of God, of the Most High God, the creator of the heavens and the earth. This Power and Refinement, this lecture here, was originally aired on June 7th of 2019 at 8:27 p.m. So it's old. This following portion is an add-on, which is being made currently right now, which is basically August 19th, 2020. Salah. Just wanted to let y'all know the truth of the Church of Philadelphia and how Philadelphia is a chromosome within the human genome, which gathers and stores information. When the information that is being stored is fabricated, lies, or negative, what ends up happening is that information that gets stored turns into a fungi or fungus, because now the information goes sour. It's not real. It has no root. And this is where you get myeloma, leukemia, and all of these different types of cancers, which you're going to start seeing popping up all around the world at this present time. This all has to do with what we call the Church of Philadelphia, better known as chromosome Philadelphia. So with all that said and done, let's get into this lecture.
So with all the volcanoes erupting, which all release something called ash, which holds something called phosphorus, which is Lucifer. Lucifer, translated into Greek or Latin, basically means light bringer. It's also a subatomic particle known as phosphorus. And all of these elites and stuff like that, Manly P. Hall, Aleister Crowley, and all of these individuals have always talked about Lucifer being their god, their light bringer. Well, it isn't because Lucifer is their friend, or Lucifer knows them, or nothing like that, because as I just explained, it's a subatomic particle within the human body. What they were referring to when they speak of Lucifer and the light bringer and stuff like that, it's because this is the time where your body releases chemicals into the bloodstream and into the organs that begin to basically desecrate. And when I say desecrate, I mean literally destroy the neurons that literally help one connect the communication between their higher self and lower self. The elites also understand that there's a group that will basically not adhere to these things, but instead would take this newfound transfiguration that is occurring within their body, and they will use it to their advantage and become all-knowing and all-seeing. Basically, like you saw Christ come out shimmering when he came out the cave, as well as when Moses took his hand out his bosom and it was shining, and it basically scared everybody, and he had to put it away or put it back in his bosom to basically keep them from being scared of him. It's also what you hear being described. They say that they got to see and speak to the Son of Man in the book of Daniel, where his eyes is like a light, a fire, and his face is like a burning light. All of it. So this is what your body is already undergoing at this very moment. The enemy has chosen to use this particular time to basically cause that aspect of our bodies to mutate instead of transfigurate. So basically they are weakening the white blood cells to the point where the things that you're ingesting, the sodas, the pop, the ice cream, the candy, the chocolate, the sugars, all of those things come into the body and they begin to overpower the positiveness of your body, because everything, once it's consumed into the body, becomes information. But if the information is artificial, meaning if you're eating artificial flavors and foods and Doritos and fake colors and all of these different fake fruits, then what ends up happening is that the information that you're gonna mostly bond with or mostly deal with or recognize will only be that which is artificial. And this is what you're seeing occurring with our family members and friends, where despite all of the articles coming up disproving things that Fauci, which is the word false, and falsely means to be false, are all basically pointing out, the people still hold on to their mask. They still hold on to the lies that were given to them by Whether it's the right or the left paradigm, it doesn't matter. But the elites in general, those that govern the mind. So this all deals with power and refinement. And power is the fifth alphabet. It's the fifth number, and it represents the truth. It represents the knowledge or the light of God, the glory. And its counterpart, which is refinement, means to purify, to cleanse. And this is why at this time you're seeing a vast majority of the world population all across the globe now more focused, more in tune with what they're putting into their body in terms of additives and artificial flavors and MSGs and all these other types of chemicals, which at one time we didn't even realize they were chemicals until we began to actually look at the compounds and what happens when these things get introduced to certain compounds, elements within our bodies. And some of this stuff turns to nutrients, some of it turns to vitamins, some of it turns to minerals, some of it turns to oil.
Run that up, Rico.
Do yourselves a favor, download as many of these lectures as you can. They are literally taking them down 1 by 1, 2 by 2, and 3 by 3s. Download them.
And then, of course, some of it turns to proteins. And proteins is exactly what I'm talking about. When a certain type of information is basically inputted into that which you are about to consume. Remember that when you are online, looking at your YouTube or looking at your Instagram, your Facebook, or any of these things, you're consuming that. And to prove it, just think about what it's called. It's called your feed. And you are looking at your feed, and whatever you're actually, this is why to get a view on any video or any post, a person has to stay on your post for 6 seconds. I know that because I used to be a marketer. So it makes a lot more sense to me now, because what it's basically telling me as an old marketer, it's telling me that in 6 seconds, the body pretty much identifies whatever it is it's looking at, not just what the eyes are seeing, not just the colors and the signs and the symbols and whatever, character is there, but the subliminal aspect of it all, what it truly means. And this gets downloaded into your book. And your book of life, as I've explained before, is your genetics, it's your DNA. And your DNA is another form or fashion of abbreviation to say diet and appetite. So your diet and appetite, your DNA, is being fed through the feeds of your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitters, and all of these other apps and all of these other applications everywhere. Even, at a bus stop, I've seen machinery that have applications. And applications is not just an app that you can press or whatever. An application is anything that is actually talking to you as you're reading it. Remember, the word reading is re-adding. So re means to do over, and AD, ING, or AD alone means to add. And an AD is a promotion or an advertisement. When you're adding it, you're now literally infusing it into your genetics. This is why it's important to abstain from negativity or abstain from lies and abstain from things that are key components to the agenda that the enemy is using, like these other channels and these other platforms that they use, such as churches, online churches, synagogues, groups. All of these things are all working in his favor. Satan deceives the whole world. But now, to get back on topic, when you're looking at the Church of Philadelphia, the Church of Philadelphia, as I've explained to you, consists of 7 churches, one of them being Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, aside from Laodicea and Thyatira, focus on the one called Philadelphia at the moment, because Philadelphia is basically explaining a chromosome that we have in our body. What this chromosome is in charge of is all of your information that you are taking in through your eyes, your ears, and all of your senses, such as taste and feeling and hearing. So this particular chromosome is basically organically and inorganically fusing the truth with the lie together, which literally creates nothing but a lie. Regardless if you are being told the truth, let's say you come to this channel and while you're in this channel, you receive the truth, and then you go off, and instead of turning it off and meditating on what you just heard, and when I say meditating, I'm not talking about actually going and becoming a portal by meditating and opening yourselves up for different types of entities. I'm talking about thinking about what I said or researching what you just heard. You, instead of doing that, go and watch another video, or you watch 2-3 more videos, which I'm pretty sure I used to do, so I'm pretty sure some of you still do it, or always do it. This affects what the truth is, and it explains why some of you have come across the channel in which you hear the Son of Man speaking, or you have bumped into someone who has been around the Son of Man, or who has learned something from the Son of Man, and yet you guys recognize what is being said because it's the truth, but you cannot sit idly, or you need to, once you see that you can't dissect it any further because it's the root of anything, you go and begin to add to the branch of what this tree is that has deep roots into the ground, or into the origin of anything, to what it might be pertaining to. What this does is that it alters the entire tree. It alters, even if you put one fake leaf on a tree, you are altering that entire tree. And it's no longer a pure tree. It's now a mixed tree, just like your bloodline. Some of you who might, have been from Australia, for example, and you are born from Australia, your mom and dad is from Australia, you came here now, and you're living here, and you are now married to a Spanish woman or a Spanish guy, and you have a child. That child, you very well know, is diluted by 2 different types of bloods, not accounting for all the blood lines that, help bring her particular people into this realm, or your particular people into this realm. It's a dilution that occurs. This is important to understand because this is what happens to everything, especially the truth. And once this occurs, it's no longer true. That's why it's important to know that the truth is only that which can be identified, like through an experience, through actually being somebody that first-handedly experiences something. That is what the truth is. That is how you find out what the truth is. That's why when I explain anything, I give it to you like a jackal would, meaning I chew it up and then feed it to you so that you can be able to easily research it or easily ingested. That's very important. That is what our Philadelphia chromosome actually does. The other thing it does is that at this particular time, you have to understand that the word Philadelphia or Philadelphia or Philodelphia means beloved womb or beloved brother. And beloved womb or beloved hollow, which is what Delphia actually means, it means hollow or womb or brother. And this is important because hallowed be thy name. The word womb is used 25 different times in 26 verses of the Bible. Pardon me, I said that incorrectly, so I retract that. It's used 26 different times in 25 verses, the word womb. This is important to note because it means that the word womb, which is another way of saying matrix, is literally what is playing a part in what is going on right now in the world. Now, if you don't know what your womb is and you don't know what the matrix is, the womb and the matrix is literally your mind. That's what it is. And you are literally mirroring what's down in heaven is done on earth. You are mirroring whatever information or education that you received as a child into the world. So that is what the Bible is referring to in some cases. In other cases, it's just speaking about what is happening outside of your eyes or your body is happening inside of your body. Paying attention to that little aspect at the end there within your body, you have to understand that the Church of Philadelphia, which deal with all 7 major organs on the planet, all 7 major organs in your body, or all 7 major continents on the earth, you have to understand that these are extremely important due to the fact that right now we have information coming in from ions which come off of the sun, and the sun is another celestial body, which means it's a child of God. It is one of our Father's sons. So is the stars out there that you see, and all of these are literally playing their part right now in nurturing you and bringing you through this phase that we're going through. This is an evolutionary stage, and in this evolutionary stage, the enemy is trying to intoxicate you by making you acidic, because if he makes you acidic, the metals that are within your body will not be able to be fused, because acid literally melts metal. So your body won't have nothing to change or nothing to charge up into intellect or information, and the rest of the people around you who do have this will elevate. This is what you call your ascending. They will elevate consciously, and because they will elevate consciously, you don't want to be left behind, because you don't want to be the dumb one sitting out. You want to receive the gift of God as well. You want to know all things. You want to know things before they happen. You want to know why things are the way they are and why things have been the way they've been. This is what God is offering all of the world, right along with what I've already shown you to be immortality. So all of these things are what the Church of Philadelphia or the Philadelphia chromosome represents and what it literally is all about. So understanding the Philadelphia chromosome, you have to understand that you don't want to be of the Church of Laudato Si or Laodicea, where you are lukewarm, where you are someone who understands all of these things cannot be disproven, but you're too busy to prove it to yourself. You have to take an inch or a step in order for the Father to take the rest of the steps towards you. If you don't work, nobody's going to just work for you. you have to do some homework. You have to literally research. And once you begin to research and begin to see that what I'm telling you is actually right and exact, this propels your consciousness automatically. Just off of you finding 2 or 3 things out that I say to be true, your mind begins to automatically synchronize with the information that I put out on a weekly basis, or at least I try to, and this will literally raise you above all of the chaos that is occurring around the world. And no longer would you be duped into believing in meteors falling from the sky. Now, understanding all of that I just explained, the Philadelphia chromosome is also crucial at this point, because in its system that it has of taking in all this information and then sorting it out and putting out whatever negative information it doesn't need, your body is releasing what we would call the locus. And the locus are these X particle genes that you have that begin to replicate all of your chromosomes, and then they begin to create its own chromosome. So you are now dealing with a 5th gene instead of just having 4 strands of DNA. You begin to have 5. This 5 will then turn into 1 because you are now single. Your eye or your mind, which is your womb, will begin to become one with the body. Therefore, the body no longer will have any type of hold or any type of superiority over you, because you would be fully and truly in command and in dominion of yourself, your true self. And this is important because it ain't gonna work if you're eating these negative things, and if you're watching these negative things and you're believing and entertaining all of this negative talk. So you have to take yourself away from those things. Right now, the ions which are coming off the sun are giving off information that's telling us of what is to occur, what happened in the past, who it is that exactly is attacking us, and what it is that it's trying to do, and who it is that it's targeting. All of these things are already revealed unto me, and it's already revealed unto others from months ago, from almost a year ago. All things are made foreseeable to the children and sons and daughters of God. So this is what you want to be able to have. You want to be able to know these things so that you don't fall victim to them, and that you know what exactly is going on. So with the sun giving you this information and you putting in all this negative food and all this negative information that you're getting off of your news channels, your movies, your music, your feeds on all of your applications and all of these clouds that they have, you're literally combating the information of God. This is what you call the battle of Megiddo. This is what you call the battle of Jehoshaphat, the battle which takes place in the valley. And this literal valley is basically found right between where most people call the gooch or the chode, and this is basically where your scrotum is, or where your private part is, and your rectum. You have a little lining there, and that is a particular seat of authority that the evil one basically has. So when it says that the Father, or in many cases, for those of you who follow the New Testament, when the Son comes and he calls everybody to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and he stands with one foot on that mountain and oversees the multitudes, this is what it's in reference to. It's in reference to the negativity which has become you. And it's also in reference to the positivity, for those of you who are in the truth, that has become you. And at this point, he, of course, brought you all to this position through what is called the hook. which he put into all of your jaws. Even those that believe in Galatia, they are all coming into this valley as well. No one is exempt from this. Everyone will get hooked and brought into the valley of Jehoshaphat within yourselves. You'll be a walking, talking person all day long, but you're going to literally have something occurring within you that if you are not aware of it occurring, you are going to feed the wrong side. And you don't want to do that. You want to be as pure and as natural as you can be at this particular point in time. Because the information that is coming off of the sun is what causes all living things to migrate, to literally evolve or go through what is called metamorphosis. And what you do at this point, all mammals basically they go and hibernate. You are not a mammal like a bear, but you're called a mammal, meaning you have similar traits of a mammal. What happens to you is that your body goes through something called a transfiguration, and this is what all of this is about. This is about the transfiguration that literally binds all of your genetics into one, especially if you are pure. If you are one of those children who has set themselves apart as a Levite or as a Levi unto himself or unto his father, and literally abstain from the things of the world. And I know it's not easy to do, so I don't expect all of y'all to be 100 on it, but the main thing you have to understand is that you have to try. You have to at least try. It's easy to stop eating meat. It's easy to stop eating fish. You want to do these things, and I bring the foods aspect of it up because that's what will cause a lot of you to do sinister things to your loved ones and to your friends and family. So you must abstain from that, because when the Bible explains that one would be taken and the other left, it's literally talking about your left hemisphere of your brain and your right hemisphere of your brain. You want to make sure that you are in your critical thinking aspect of your brain and not your creative thinking aspect of your brain. Because your creative thinking aspect of your brain, if you are left with that, that is what fears. That is what literally created these characters that you have seen in comic books and movies and video games into reality. That is what cultivated it into the spectrum and realm that we are living in. That's why you are seeing shadows running through and coming out in broad daylight in front of people in the break of day. Right on camera, like nothing. There's many channels you can go view this on. And this is also why you have a collective group of individuals running the world that are literally black-eyed, demonic, soulless entities. And these demonic, soulless entities actually know your genetics. They know the Bible better than you. So you have to try to unify your intellect, unify and curtail all of the information that you are getting and gathering throughout the day. You don't need to know what else blew up today. You don't need to know who died today. You don't need to know what bridge fell. You don't need to know that. There's a time and a place for all those things. What you just need to know right now is what's going on with you. What are you really like? What is it that causes you to act this way or do these things? What inside you is causing you to crave beef? What is inside you is causing you to crave burgers and all of these things? There's a huge situation occurring in the world where the food shortages are now making it to the mainstream media. At this point, when things begin to hit the mainstream media, you have to understand that consciousness of a person who's not sane or not in God, they're gonna act like animals behind. We just saw it happen over toilet paper. Imagine if that toilet paper was a loaf of bread or the last can of beans. Y'all all seen the movie Mad Max. You want to make sure that this does not go that route, and if when it does, because it will go that route, sadly, you want to make sure that it doesn't go that route around you, or that you're not in the position that you were in, or in the location that you're in presently, and are instead around a group of people who are helpful and willing to build and share with you, and you with them, so that you don't have to undergo that, and neither does your children or your wife or those that you care about, your girlfriend. These are all things that are coming, and all things that are written in stone are set in stone, meaning they are going to happen. No matter how much you try to pray, or how much you think you meditate, or how many people you gather in a chat room or in a group to literally do a 45-day fast and meditation, it will not change what is written in stone. And understand that you are members of the body of Christ. And what that means is that if I'm talking to you about your chromosomes, and I'm showing you that Philadelphia is a chromosome in your body, you have to understand that this is why I'm explaining it, because the Bible is biological. It has nothing to do with mystical, mysterious creatures floating outside in the dark. It has everything to do with what's floating and mysterious inside you. So take heed to these things that I just told you. Practice in reference to being able to accept what is called power, which is the truth, it's the glory, it's the light, it's the knowledge of God. And its counterpart, which is refinement, purity, cleanliness. You have to be able to understand those two aspects of what is true in order to basically find direction, good orderly direction. So with that said and done, I hope the Father has been able to circumcise your eyes and ears in order for you to actually understand this information, and hopefully cause you to elevate on a higher plateau and be able to actually foresee the impending doom that is befalling this entire realm. With that said and done, this is Frequencies of Thought, and I'm out. Selah. Frequencies.
For all the brothers and sisters, the true and living, the sons and daughters of God, you all see how the channel is being targeted. 5 videos in a row have basically been blocked off and taken down. So find me on BitChute and on a few other platforms. I just can't remember their names at this moment, but that's where you're gonna have to go to gather this information, or come join me in the clouds on Discord. Descriptions is below. Salah.